Doctors around the world are absolutely stunned by what they're discovering in their patients over 50. Foods that have been recommended as healthy choices for decades are now being identified as the hidden culprits behind dangerous blood sugar spikes, unexplained weight gain, and that afternoon energy crash that leaves you feeling completely drained. If you're over 50 and you've been eating what you thought were healthy foods, only to find your energy levels plummeting, your waistline expanding, or your doctor expressing concern about your blood sugar levels, then what I'm about to share with you could be the missing piece of the puzzle you've been searching for. And I've been practicing endocrinology for over 20 years. In the last decade, I've seen an alarming trend in my practice. Patients who are doing everything right according to traditional dietary guidelines are still struggling with blood sugar control, unexplained fatigue, and metabolic issues that seem to appear out of nowhere after their 50th birthday. What's even more shocking is that many of these patients are eating foods that are marketed as healthy, recommended by nutritionists, and even approved by major health organizations. Yet these same foods are causing their blood glucose to spike to dangerous levels, triggering a cascade of hormonal responses that make weight management nearly impossible and leave them feeling exhausted and frustrated. The truth is, your body changes dramatically after 50, and what worked for you in your 30s and 40s may now be working against you. The foods I'm about to reveal aren't just failing to help you, they're actively sabotaging your health goals and putting you at risk for serious complications down the road. But here's the good news. Once you understand which foods are causing these problems and why they affect your body differently now, you can make simple, strategic substitutions that will stabilize your blood sugar, restore your energy, and help you feel like yourself again. You don't need to follow any extreme diet or give up all the foods you love. You just need to make smarter choices based on how your body actually functions after 50. Before we dive into the 9 foods that are causing these problems, let me explain why your body has become so sensitive to blood sugar spikes and why foods that never bothered you before are now causing such dramatic reactions. After 50, several critical changes occur in your body that make blood sugar management much more challenging. First, your muscle mass naturally begins to decline through a process called sarcopenia. This might not seem related to blood sugar, but muscle tissue is actually your body's primary storage site for glucose. When you have less muscle mass, your body has fewer places to store the sugar from your food, which means more of it ends up circulating in your bloodstream. Second, your cells become less sensitive to insulin, the hormone responsible for moving sugar from your blood into your cells. This insulin resistance means that even normal amounts of carbohydrates can cause higher and longer-lasting blood sugar spikes than they did when you were younger. Third, hormonal changes associated with menopause in women and andropause in men affect how your body processes and stores nutrients. Declining estrogen, testosterone, and growth hormone levels all contribute to changes in metabolism and blood sugar control. Fourth, your liver becomes less efficient at producing glucose-regulating enzymes and storing excess glucose as glycogen. This means your body's natural blood sugar buffering system isn't working as effectively as it once did. Finally, changes in your digestive system can affect how quickly foods are absorbed, potentially leading to more rapid spikes in blood glucose levels. All of these factors combine to create a perfect storm where foods that were once perfectly fine for your body now cause dramatic blood sugar fluctuations that leave you feeling tired, hungry, and frustrated. The key to understanding which foods to avoid lies in grasping 3 important concepts: glycemic index, glycemic load, and food processing. The glycemic index measures how quickly a food raises blood sugar compared to pure glucose. The glycemic load takes into account both the glycemic index and the actual amount of carbohydrates in a serving. Food processing can dramatically alter both of these factors, often in ways that aren't obvious from reading labels. Here's a simple framework I teach my patients called the PFG rule: protein plus fiber plus good fats at every meal and snack. These three nutrients work together to slow the absorption of carbohydrates and minimize blood sugar spikes. When you eat carbohydrates by themselves, especially refined or processed ones, they hit your bloodstream like a tidal wave. But when you combine them with protein, fiber, and healthy fats, they're absorbed much more slowly and steadily. Another crucial strategy is the order in which you eat your food. Research shows that eating fiber-rich vegetables first, followed by protein and fats, and saving carbohydrates for last can reduce blood sugar spikes by up to 30%. This simple change in eating order can make a dramatic difference in how your body responds to meals. Now, let's talk about reading food labels, because many of the foods I'm about to reveal hide their sugar content behind misleading marketing claims and confusing ingredient lists. Sugar has dozens of different names on ingredient lists, including dextrose, maltodextrina, rice syrup, corn syrup, agave nectar, coconut sugar, and many others. Even foods labeled as fat-free, sugar-free, or fitness foods can be loaded with ingredients that spike blood sugar. When reading labels, aim for foods with 5 grams of sugar or less per serving for items that aren't naturally sweet fruits. Pay attention to serving sizes, because many products list nutritional information for unrealistically small portions. And remember, ingredients are listed in order of quantity, so if sugar appears in the first 3 ingredients under any name, that food is likely to cause blood sugar spikes. Now, let's dive into the 9 supposedly healthy foods that are sabotaging your blood sugar control after 50. The first food that's shocking doctors with its blood sugar impact is 100% natural fruit juice. For decades, fruit juice has been marketed as a healthy way to get vitamins and minerals, and many people consider it equivalent to eating fruit. But here's what happens when you drink fruit juice versus eating whole fruit. When you eat an apple, orange, or any whole fruit, you're getting the natural sugars along with fiber, which slows the absorption of those sugars into your bloodstream. The fiber creates a kind of time-release effect, allowing your body to process the sugars gradually without overwhelming your insulin response. But when fruit is juiced, all the fiber is removed, leaving behind concentrated fructose and glucose that hits your bloodstream almost as quickly as drinking a soda. Even worse, it takes multiple fruits to make 1 glass of juice. A single glass of orange juice might contain the sugar from 3 or 4 oranges, but without any of the fiber that would normally help regulate its absorption. The marketing term natural is particularly misleading here. Yes, the sugar comes from fruit, but once it's concentrated and separated from fiber, your body processes it exactly like any other sugar. Your pancreas doesn't care whether the glucose came from an orange or a candy bar. It still has to produce the same insulin response. For people over 50, whose insulin sensitivity is already compromised, this concentrated sugar load can cause blood glucose levels to spike dangerously high. Many of my patients have been shocked to discover that their morning glass of orange juice was causing higher blood sugar readings than a piece of chocolate cake. The solution isn't to give up fruit entirely. Instead, eat whole fruits and drink water. If you really enjoy fruit-flavored beverages, try infusing water with slices of fresh fruit, or dilute a small amount of juice with sparkling water and add protein powder or chia seeds to slow absorption. You'll still get vitamins and minerals, but without the dangerous blood sugar roller coaster. The second food causing problems is flavored fat-free yogurt. This might be the most deceptive item on our list because yogurt has such a healthy reputation, and fat-free sounds like it should be even better for you. Here's what food manufacturers discovered decades ago. When you remove fat from foods, they taste terrible. Fat carries flavor and provides the creamy texture that makes yogurt satisfying. To make fat-free yogurt palatable, manufacturers load it with sugar, high-fructose corn syrup, artificial flavors, and thickening agents. A typical container of flavored fat-free yogurt contains between 15 and 25 grams of sugar. To put that in perspective, that's equivalent to about 6 teaspoons of sugar in a single serving. Many people eat yogurt thinking they're making a healthy choice, but they're actually consuming more sugar than they would in a candy bar. The removal of fat creates another problem for blood sugar control. Dietary fat slows the absorption of carbohydrates and helps you feel satisfied longer. Without fat, the sugar in fat-free yogurt is absorbed rapidly, causing a quick spike in blood glucose followed by a crash that leaves you hungry again within an hour or two. For people over 50, this combination of high sugar and no fat is particularly problematic. Your body is already struggling with insulin sensitivity, and the rapid absorption of sugar from fat-free yogurt can overwhelm your system's ability to maintain stable blood glucose levels. The solution is to choose full-fat, plain Greek yogurt and add your own flavors. Greek yogurt is naturally higher in protein, which helps stabilize blood sugar, and the fat content slows carbohydrate absorption. Add cinnamon, which has been shown to help with blood sugar control, along with a small amount of berries or nuts for natural sweetness and additional fiber. If you find plain yogurt too tart, start by mixing it half and half with your usual flavored yogurt, gradually increasing the proportion of plain yogurt over time. Your taste buds will adjust, and you'll likely find that you prefer the less sweet version once you're accustomed to it. The third problematic food is granola and so-called healthy grain bars. These products have managed to maintain their health halo despite being nutritional disasters for blood sugar control. Commercial granola typically contains oats, nuts, and dried fruits bound together with honey, maple syrup, brown rice syrup, or other sweeteners. While these ingredients might sound natural and healthy, they create a perfect storm for blood sugar spikes. The oats in most granola are processed into small flakes that are quickly digested and absorbed. The dried fruits are essentially candy, with all the water removed and the sugars concentrated. The binding syrups and honey add even more concentrated sugars. When you add up all these sources, a typical serving of granola contains between 20 and 30 grams of sugar and has a glycemic load comparable to eating a donut. Grain bars and energy bars marketed as healthy options are often even worse. They're designed to be shelf-stable and convenient, which means they're highly processed and loaded with binding agents, preservatives, and sweeteners. Many contain protein powder and vitamins, which creates the illusion of health, but the base is still concentrated sugars and refined grains. The serving sizes listed on granola and bar packages are notoriously unrealistic. The label might show nutrition information for 1/4 cup of granola or half a bar, but most people consume 2 to 3 times the listed serving size. This means you could easily be eating 60 to 90 grams of sugar in what you consider a healthy breakfast. For people over 50, starting the day with this kind of sugar bomb sets up a pattern of blood sugar spikes and crashes that can last all day. Your insulin system becomes overwhelmed early in the morning, making it harder to maintain stable glucose levels throughout the day. Instead of commercial granola, try making your own mix using raw nuts, seeds, unsweetened coconut flakes, and a small amount of cinnamon or vanilla for flavor. You can lightly toast the mixture in the oven with a tiny amount of coconut oil, but avoid adding any sweeteners. This gives you the crunch and satisfaction of granola with a fraction of the sugar impact. For portable snacks, Skip the bars altogether and choose whole food combinations like a small apple with almond butter or a handful of nuts with a piece of cheese. These combinations provide sustained energy without the blood sugar roller coaster. The fourth food that's causing problems is industrial whole wheat bread and multigrain wraps. This might be the most surprising item on our list because whole grains have been promoted as healthy choices for decades. The problem isn't with whole grains themselves, but with how modern bread is made. Most commercial whole wheat bread starts with wheat flour that has been milled into very fine particles. Even though it contains the entire grain, the grinding process creates a product that's absorbed almost as quickly as white flour. Food manufacturers then add sugar, high fructose corn syrup, molasses, or honey to improve the taste and texture of whole wheat bread. They may also add malted barley flour, which is essentially sugar, to help with browning and flavor. The result is a product that looks healthy but behaves like refined carbohydrates in your digestive system. Multigrain wraps and tortillas present similar problems. The term multigrain simply means multiple grains were used, but it doesn't specify whether those grains are whole or refined. Many multigrain products use refined wheat flour as their base and add small amounts of other grains for marketing appeal. To make matters worse, these products are often made in large, thin sheets that increase the surface area exposed to your digestive enzymes, speeding up absorption even more. A large multigrain wrap can contain as many carbohydrates as 4 to 6 slices of regular bread, all absorbed rapidly because of the processing methods used. For people over 50 whose glucose tolerance is already compromised, these products can cause blood sugar spikes that last for hours. Many of my patients have been shocked to discover that their healthy sandwich on whole wheat bread was causing higher glucose readings than pasta or rice. The solution is to look for bread made from coarsely ground grains or sprouted grains, which are absorbed more slowly. True sourdough bread, made with wild fermentation, has a lower glycemic impact because the fermentation process predigests some of the starches and creates beneficial compounds that help with blood sugar control. Better yet, consider alternatives to bread altogether. Lettuce wraps, portobello mushroom caps, or thinly sliced sweet potato can serve as bases for sandwiches without the blood sugar impact. If you do choose bread, eat it as part of a meal that includes protein, healthy fats, and vegetables to slow absorption. The fifth food causing blood sugar chaos is flavored instant oatmeal. Oatmeal has such a strong reputation as a healthy breakfast choice that many people are shocked to learn it can be problematic for blood sugar control. The issue isn't with oats themselves, but with how instant oatmeal is processed. To make oats cook quickly, manufacturers steam them and roll them into very thin flakes, sometimes grinding them into nearly powder-like consistency. This processing destroys the natural fiber structure that would normally slow carbohydrate absorption. Flavored varieties add another layer of problems. Packets of instant oatmeal typically contain between 10 and 20 grams of added sugar, along with artificial flavors, colors, and preservatives. The maple and brown sugar variety, cinnamon spice, and fruit-flavored options are essentially breakfast candy disguised as health food. Even plain instant oatmeal causes faster blood sugar spikes than traditional steel-cut oats because of the processing. The more processed the oats, the faster they're absorbed and the higher they push your blood glucose levels. For people over 50, starting the day with instant oatmeal creates the same problematic pattern as other high-sugar breakfast foods. Your blood sugar spikes rapidly, then crashes within a few hours, leaving you hungry, tired, and craving more carbohydrates. The solution is to choose steel-cut oats or old-fashioned rolled oats and cook them yourself. Yes, this takes longer, but you can prepare a large batch on weekends and reheat portions throughout the week. Add protein powder, Greek yogurt, or an egg while cooking to increase the protein content, which helps stabilize blood sugar. For flavor, use cinnamon, vanilla extract, or a small amount of fresh fruit rather than sugar or artificial sweeteners. Chia seeds, ground flaxseed, or chopped nuts add fiber and healthy fats that further slow absorption. If you absolutely must use quick cooking oats for convenience, choose plain varieties and add your own flavors. Even better, try alternative breakfast options like eggs with vegetables, Greek yogurt with nuts, or a protein smoothie with minimal fruit content. The sixth food that's sabotaging blood sugar control is coffee shop smoothies and protein shakes marketed as fitness drinks. These beverages have exploded in popularity as people look for convenient, healthy meal replacements, but most are nutritional disasters in disguise. A typical large smoothie from a popular chain contains 2 to 3 servings of fruit, sweetened yogurt or sherbet, fruit juice, honey or agave syrup, and sometimes ice cream or frozen dessert bases. The result is a drink that contains between 60 and 100 grams of sugar, more than most people should consume in an entire day. Even smoothies marketed as green or vegetable-based often contain large amounts of fruit to mask the taste of vegetables. Apple juice, pineapple, mango, and banana are common additions that drive up the sugar content dramatically. Protein smoothies and fitness shakes present similar problems. Many use protein powders that contain added sugars, artificial sweeteners, or sugar alcohols that can affect blood glucose. They're often mixed with fruit juice, milk, or flavored bases that add even more sugar. The liquid form of these drinks makes the problem even worse. Liquid carbohydrates are absorbed faster than solid foods because they bypass much of the normal digestive process. Your stomach empties liquids quickly, sending a concentrated dose of sugar directly to your small intestine for rapid absorption. For people over 50, drinking a large smoothie can cause blood sugar levels to spike higher and faster than eating a piece of cake. The liquid nature means there's no fiber to slow absorption, and the large serving size delivers an enormous glucose load all at once. If you enjoy smoothies, make them at home where you can control the ingredients. Use a base of unsweetened almond milk or coconut milk, add a small amount of low-sugar fruit like berries, include leafy greens for nutrients without sugar, and add protein powder, avocado, or nut butter for staying power. Keep portions reasonable. A smoothie should be a snack, not a meal replacement that contains more calories and sugar than you'd normally consume in an entire meal. The seventh problematic food category is sweetened plant-based milk alternatives. As more people avoid dairy for various reasons, plant-based milks have become increasingly popular. However, many of these products are loaded with sugars and other ingredients that make them poor choices for blood sugar control. Oat milk has become particularly trendy, but it's essentially liquid oatmeal with added sugars. Oats are naturally high in carbohydrates, and when they're processed into milk, those carbs are in a form that's rapidly absorbed. Even unsweetened oat milk can cause blood sugar spikes in sensitive individuals. Sweetened versions of all plant-based milks contain added sugars that can range from 7 to 20 grams per cup. Rice milk is particularly problematic because rice has a high glycemic index, and processing it into milk makes it even more rapidly absorbed. Many plant-based milks also contain thickening agents, emulsifiers, and stabilizers that can affect digestion and potentially influence blood sugar responses. Some contain oils and other additives that weren't part of traditional diets and may contribute to inflammation and metabolic problems. For people over 50 who are already dealing with reduced insulin sensitivity, These sweetened plant milks can contribute to blood sugar instability throughout the day. Many people drink them thinking they're making a healthy choice, but they're actually consuming liquid sugar. The solution is to choose unsweetened versions and use them in small amounts. Unsweetened almond milk and coconut milk tend to have the least impact on blood sugar. If you find them too thin or bland, you can add a small amount of vanilla extract or cinnamon for flavor without sugar. Better yet, consider whether you need milk alternatives at all. Many people use them out of habit rather than necessity. Black coffee, plain tea, or water might be better choices for managing blood sugar. The eighth food causing problems is low-fat and fat-free salad dressings and condiments. Like fat-free yogurt, these products compensate for the removal of fat by adding sugar, and the results can be devastating for blood sugar control. Traditional salad dressings get their flavor and texture from oil and vinegar or other acidic ingredients. When manufacturers remove the oil to create low-fat versions, they need to replace the flavor and mouthfeel somehow. Their solution is usually to add sugar, high-fructose corn syrup, modified food starch, and various artificial ingredients. Low-fat ranch dressing might contain 8 to 12 grams of sugar per serving, turning your healthy salad into a blood sugar bomb. Fat-free Italian dressing, Thousand Island, and other creamy varieties often contain similar amounts of sugar. Condiments like ketchup, barbecue sauce, and sweet and sour sauce are even worse. These products are essentially sugar delivery systems disguised as flavor enhancers. A single tablespoon of ketchup contains about 4 grams of sugar, and most people use much more than a tablespoon. The removal of fat from these products creates a double problem for blood sugar control. Not only do you get a dose of added sugar, but you also lose the blood sugar stabilizing effect of dietary fat. Healthy fats slow the absorption of carbohydrates and help you feel satisfied longer. For people over 50, using these products regularly can contribute to a pattern of blood sugar spikes throughout the day. You might not even realize you're consuming significant amounts of sugar because it's hidden in what seem like minor additions to your meals. The solution is to make your own dressings using olive oil, vinegar, lemon juice, herbs, and spices. These ingredients provide flavor without added sugars and include healthy fats that help stabilize blood sugar. Dijon mustard, hot sauce, and herbs can add flavor to foods without sugar. If you buy commercial dressings, read labels carefully and choose those with the lowest sugar content. Use them sparingly and always as part of meals that include protein and fiber. The ninth and final food that's causing blood sugar problems is coconut water and natural sports drinks. These beverages have gained popularity as healthy hydration options, but they can be problematic for blood sugar control, especially when consumed regularly or in large amounts. Coconut water naturally contains sugar from the coconut, typically about 6 to 8 grams per cup. While this might not seem like much compared to other beverages we've discussed, many coconut water products are sold in large containers that hold 2 to 3 servings, bringing the total sugar content to 20 plus grams. Sports drinks, even those marketed as natural or organic, are designed to provide quick energy for athletes during prolonged exercise. They contain various forms of sugar specifically chosen for rapid absorption. For someone who isn't engaging in intense physical activity, these drinks provide sugar without any need for quick energy replacement. Many people have started drinking these beverages as everyday hydration options, thinking they're healthier than soda or juice. But for someone over 50 who isn't exercising intensely, they're essentially drinking sugar water with a health halo. The natural sugars in coconut water and sports drinks are absorbed just as quickly as artificial sugars, causing the same blood glucose spikes and insulin responses. For people with compromised insulin sensitivity, regular consumption can contribute to blood sugar instability and energy crashes. The solution for most people is simple: drink water. Plain water is the best choice for hydration, and you can add lemon, lime, or cucumber slices for flavor without sugar. If you exercise intensely for more than an hour, you might benefit from coconut water or sports drinks, but use them only during or immediately after exercise, and choose the smallest size available. For those who want electrolyte replacement without sugar, look for sugar-free options or make your own by adding a pinch of sea salt and lemon juice to water. Now that we've identified the 9 foods that are sabotaging your blood sugar control, let's talk about simple strategies you can implement immediately to stabilize your glucose levels and restore your energy. The first strategy is to take a gentle 10-minute walk after every meal. This doesn't need to be intense exercise. Just a leisurely stroll around your neighborhood or even walking in place while watching television can help. Physical movement helps your muscles take up glucose from your bloodstream, reducing post-meal blood sugar spikes by as much as 20 to 30%. The timing matters. The most effective time to walk is within 30 minutes after finishing your meal, when your blood sugar is beginning to rise. This simple habit can make a dramatic difference in how your body processes the food you've eaten. The second strategy involves using apple cider vinegar to help moderate blood sugar responses. Taking 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar in a glass of water 15 to 30 minutes before meals that contain carbohydrates can help slow the absorption of sugar and reduce spikes. The acetic acid in vinegar appears to inhibit certain enzymes involved in carbohydrate digestion and may improve insulin sensitivity. However, this strategy isn't appropriate for everyone. If you have stomach ulcers, acid reflux, or take certain medications, check with your healthcare provider before using vinegar regularly. Start with a smaller amount, perhaps 1 teaspoon in water, to see how your body responds. Some people find that vinegar on an empty stomach causes stomach upset, so you might need to take it with a small amount of food. The third strategy is to prioritize protein at breakfast. Starting your day with a protein-rich meal helps stabilize blood sugar for the entire day. When you eat carbohydrates first thing in the morning, you set yourself up for blood sugar swings that can last all day. Good breakfast proteins include eggs, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, or protein powder in a low-sugar smoothie. Aim for at least 20 to 30 grams of protein at breakfast to get the stabilizing benefits. If you're accustomed to carbohydrate-heavy breakfasts like cereal, toast, or pastries, this change might feel significant at first. Try transitioning gradually by adding protein to your usual breakfast, then slowly reducing the carbohydrate portion over time. The fourth strategy focuses on sleep quality, which has a profound impact on blood sugar control. Poor sleep increases cortisol levels and reduces insulin sensitivity, making it much harder to maintain stable blood glucose levels the next day. Even one night of poor sleep can affect your blood sugar control for up to several days. Chronic sleep deprivation is strongly linked to insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes. Simple sleep hygiene practices can make a significant difference. Keep your bedroom cool, dark, and quiet. Avoid screens for at least an hour before bedtime, as blue light can interfere with melatonin production. Establish a consistent bedtime routine that signals to your body that it's time to sleep. If you're dealing with sleep disruptions due to hormonal changes, consider talking to your healthcare provider about strategies specific to your situation. The fifth strategy is learning to read food labels effectively, which can help you avoid hidden sources of sugar in your diet. When examining a label, look at both the total sugar content and the ingredient list. As a general rule, aim for foods that contain 5 grams of sugar or less per serving, unless they're naturally sweet foods like fruits. Pay attention to serving sizes, which are often much smaller than the amount people actually consume. On the ingredient list, sugar can hide under dozens of different names. Some of the most common include high fructose corn syrup, cane sugar, brown rice syrup, agave nectar, coconut sugar, dextrose, fructose, maltose, and maltodextrin. If any form of sugar appears in the first three ingredients, that food is likely to have a significant impact on your blood sugar. Words ending in "-os generally indicate sugars. Syrups of any kind are typically concentrated sugars. Even healthy-sounding names like evaporated cane juice or fruit juice concentrate are still forms of added sugar. Now let's talk about creating meals that naturally support stable blood sugar levels. The key is to think of every meal and snack as an opportunity to provide your body with sustained energy rather than quick fixes that lead to crashes. For breakfast, focus on building meals around protein and healthy fats, with smaller amounts of high-quality carbohydrates. A vegetable omelet cooked in olive oil provides protein and fat with minimal carbohydrates. Greek yogurt with nuts, seeds, and a small amount of berries offers protein, healthy fats, and fiber with controlled carbohydrate content. If you prefer traditional breakfast foods, you can modify them to be more blood sugar friendly. Instead of regular pancakes, try making them with almond flour and eggs, which provides protein and reduces the carbohydrate load. Top with a small amount of real butter and berries instead of syrup. For lunch and dinner, visualize your plate divided into sections. Half of your plate should be filled with non-starchy vegetables like leafy greens, broccoli, cauliflower, zucchini, peppers, and asparagus. These foods provide fiber, nutrients, and volume with minimal impact on blood sugar. 1/4 of your plate should contain high-quality proteins such as fish, poultry, lean meat, eggs, or plant-based proteins like legumes or tofu. Protein helps slow the absorption of carbohydrates and provides sustained energy. The remaining 1/4 of your plate can include carbohydrates, but choose them wisely. Focus on whole, unprocessed options like sweet potatoes, quinoa, wild rice, or small amounts of fruit. These foods provide energy along with fiber and nutrients that help moderate their blood sugar impact. The order in which you eat the food on your plate can also make a difference. Start with the vegetables, which provide fiber that can help slow the absorption of carbohydrates you eat later in the meal. Follow with protein and fats, and save the carbohydrates for last. This eating order can reduce blood sugar spikes by up to 30% compared to eating the same foods in random order. It's a simple strategy that doesn't require changing what you eat, just the sequence in which you eat it. For snacks, abandon the idea that they need to be carbohydrate-based. Instead of crackers, pretzels, or granola bars, choose combinations that include protein or healthy fats. Apple slices with almond butter, celery with cream cheese, or a hard-boiled egg with some nuts provide sustained energy without blood sugar spikes. Cheese and nuts make excellent snacks because they're portable, shelf-stable, and provide protein and healthy fats with minimal carbohydrates. A small handful of almonds or walnuts can help stabilize blood sugar between meals and reduce cravings for sugary foods. Now let's address the social and practical aspects of managing blood sugar when eating away from home, which can be one of the biggest challenges for people trying to make these changes. When dining at restaurants, don't be afraid to make modifications to menu items. Ask for vegetables instead of potatoes or rice as your side dish. Request that sauces and dressings be served on the side so you can control how much you use. Many restaurants are happy to accommodate these requests, especially if you explain that you're managing blood sugar. When ordering coffee drinks, skip the flavored syrups and sweeteners, which are typically high in sugar. If you need some sweetness, consider bringing your own stevia or monk fruit sweetener. At social gatherings where food is provided, eat a small protein-rich snack before you arrive. This can help prevent overeating and reduce the impact of any high-carbohydrate foods you choose to enjoy. Focus on socializing rather than on the food, and remember that you don't have to eat everything that's offered. When grocery shopping, stick primarily to the perimeter of the store, where fresh foods like vegetables, fruits, meats, and dairy products are typically located. The inner aisles contain most of the processed foods that can cause blood sugar problems. Make a shopping list based on whole foods and stick to it. When you do need to buy packaged foods, read labels carefully and choose options with the lowest sugar content and shortest ingredient lists. For travel, preparation is key to maintaining stable blood sugar. Pack non-perishable snacks like nuts, seeds, and canned fish or chicken. Many airports and convenience stores now carry healthier options like hard-boiled eggs, cheese, and raw vegetables, but having your own backup options ensures you won't be forced to choose high-sugar foods when you're hungry. Consider bringing a small cooler with ice packs for longer trips, allowing you to pack perishable items like Greek yogurt, cheese, and fresh vegetables. Let me share a real-world example of how these principles work in practice. One of my patients, Margaret, came to see me at age 62 because she was frustrated with her energy levels and concerned about her rising fasting glucose readings. She had been eating what she considered a very healthy diet based on conventional nutrition advice. Margaret's typical day started with a large glass of orange juice and a bowl of instant oatmeal with fruit. Mid-morning, she would have a granola bar for energy. Lunch was often a turkey sandwich on whole wheat bread with fat-free yogurt. Her afternoon snack was usually more fruit or another granola bar, and dinner included brown rice or whole wheat pasta with vegetables and lean protein. On paper, this looked like a healthy diet. Margaret was eating whole grains, limiting fat, getting plenty of fruits and vegetables, and choosing lean proteins. But her blood sugar was averaging between 130 and 150 milligrams per deciliter throughout the day, well above optimal levels, and she was experiencing energy crashes that left her reaching for more carbohydrates. We made 3 simple substitutions from our list of problematic foods. First, we replaced her morning orange juice with a whole orange that she ate along with 2 scrambled eggs. This gave her the vitamin C and flavor she enjoyed from the juice, plus fiber from the whole fruit and protein from the eggs to stabilize her blood sugar. Second, we swapped her instant oatmeal for Greek yogurt with a small amount of berries, cinnamon, and chopped almonds. This dramatically reduced the carbohydrate load while increasing protein and adding healthy fats. Third, we replaced her granola bars with small portions of mixed nuts and cheese. This gave her the convenient portable snack she needed, but with protein and fat instead of concentrated sugars. These 3 changes reduced Margaret's average daily sugar intake by over 60 grams while increasing her protein and healthy fat consumption. Within 2 weeks, her energy levels were more stable throughout the day. After 6 weeks, her fasting glucose readings had dropped into the normal range, and she reported feeling more like her younger self again. The key to Margaret's success was that she didn't feel deprived. The substitutions we made were satisfying and flavorful, and she actually found that she enjoyed her new eating pattern more than her previous one. She also discovered that when her blood sugar was stable, she had fewer cravings for sweet foods, making it easier to stick with the changes. This is typical of what I see with patients who make strategic substitutions rather than trying to follow restrictive diets. When you stabilize blood sugar, your appetite regulation improves, making it easier to maintain healthy eating habits long term. Another important aspect of managing blood sugar after 50 is understanding that small, consistent changes are more effective than dramatic overhauls. Many people try to change everything at once, which can be overwhelming and unsustainable. Instead, choose 1 or 2 items from the list of 9 problematic foods and focus on making substitutions for those items first. Once those changes become habitual, you can address other items on the list. This gradual approach allows your taste preferences to adapt over time. Foods that might seem bland or unsatisfying at first often become preferred choices as your palate adjusts to less sweetness and your blood sugar stabilizes. It's also important to work with your healthcare provider, especially if you're taking medications for diabetes or other conditions. As you improve your blood sugar control through dietary changes, your medication needs may change. Your doctor can monitor your progress and make adjustments as needed. Some people worry that focusing on blood sugar management means giving up all enjoyable foods, but this isn't the case. The goal is to make strategic choices most of the time while still allowing for flexibility and enjoyment. The 80-20 rule often works well. If you're making blood sugar-friendly choices 80% of the time, the occasional treat or higher carbohydrate meal won't derail your progress. Understanding how different foods affect your individual blood sugar response can help you make these occasional indulgences more strategically. Some people find that they can tolerate small amounts of certain carbohydrates better at specific times of day or when combined with particular foods. For instance, you might discover that a small piece of dark chocolate after a protein-rich meal has minimal impact on your blood sugar, while the same amount of chocolate on an empty stomach causes a significant spike. This kind of self-awareness allows you to enjoy treats occasionally without compromising your overall health goals. Let's talk about some specific micro-habits that can have outsized impacts on blood sugar control. These are small changes that require minimal effort but can produce significant results over time. One powerful micro-habit is drinking a full glass of water before each meal. This simple action can help you feel more satisfied with smaller portions and may slow the absorption of nutrients, including carbohydrates. Proper hydration also supports optimal metabolism and can help prevent mistaking thirst for hunger. Another effective micro-habit is chewing your food more thoroughly. When you chew food completely, you break it down more effectively, which can slow its absorption and reduce blood sugar spikes. Chewing also gives your brain more time to register satiety signals, helping prevent overeating. Taking 3 deep breaths before eating is another simple habit that can support better blood sugar control. Stress hormones like cortisol can raise blood glucose levels, and chronic stress contributes to insulin resistance. These brief moments of mindfulness can help activate your parasympathetic nervous system, which supports better digestion and nutrient absorption. Keeping a food and energy journal for just 1 week can provide valuable insights into how different foods affect your individual response. Note what you eat when you eat it and how you feel energetically 1 and 3 hours after eating. This information can help you identify patterns and make more informed food choices. Setting a consistent eating schedule can also help regulate blood sugar. When you eat at roughly the same times each day, your body's hormonal systems can anticipate and prepare for incoming nutrients, leading to more stable glucose responses. Now let's address some common obstacles people face when trying to implement these changes and practical solutions for overcoming them. One of the biggest challenges is dealing with cravings for sweet foods, especially during the transition period when you're reducing sugar intake. These cravings are often strongest in the first week or 2 as your taste buds and brain chemistry adjust to lower sugar levels. Understanding that these cravings are temporary and will diminish can help you push through the initial discomfort. In the meantime, Try substituting naturally sweet foods like berries or sweet vegetables like roasted carrots or bell peppers. Spices like cinnamon, vanilla, and nutmeg can add sweetness perception without actual sugar. Another common obstacle is the inconvenience of preparing more meals at home. Many of the problematic foods on our list are appealing because they're quick and convenient. The solution is to batch prepare blood sugar-friendly options so they're just as convenient as processed foods. Spend an hour or two on weekends preparing hard-boiled eggs, cutting up vegetables, portioning out nuts and seeds, and cooking proteins that can be reheated throughout the week. Having these foods ready to go makes it much easier to make healthy choices when you're hungry and pressed for time. Social pressure can be another significant obstacle. Well-meaning friends and family members might push foods that don't support your blood sugar goals, or you might feel awkward being the only person making different choices at social gatherings. Preparing responses ahead of time can help you navigate these situations confidently. Simple phrases like, "I'm trying to keep my energy levels stable," or "I feel better when I eat this way," are usually sufficient and don't require detailed explanations about blood sugar management. Budget concerns sometimes arise when people assume that healthier eating is more expensive. While some whole foods cost more than processed options, you can often save money by eliminating expensive packaged foods like granola bars, flavored yogurts, and specialty drinks from your shopping list. Buying proteins in bulk and freezing portions, purchasing seasonal vegetables, and choosing frozen fruits and vegetables when fresh options are expensive can help keep costs manageable while still supporting your health goals. Let's discuss the importance of understanding your individual response to different foods, because there's significant variation in how different people react to the same foods. Some individuals are more sensitive to certain types of carbohydrates than others. For example, some people can tolerate small amounts of rice or potatoes without significant blood sugar spikes, while others see dramatic increases from the same foods. Age, genetics, activity level, stress levels, sleep quality, and even the composition of your gut bacteria can all influence how your body processes different foods. This is why generic dietary advice doesn't work for everyone and why paying attention to your individual responses is so valuable. If you want to get more precise about your individual responses, consider using a continuous glucose monitor for a few weeks. These devices, which were once available only to diabetics, are now accessible to anyone interested in understanding their metabolic responses to different foods and lifestyle factors. A continuous glucose monitor can show you exactly how different foods affect your blood sugar in real time, allowing you to make very specific adjustments to your diet. You might discover that you tolerate certain foods better at specific times of day, or that particular food combinations work especially well for your body. Even without a glucose monitor, you can learn a lot about your individual responses by paying attention to how you feel after eating different foods. Energy levels, mood, hunger levels, and sleep quality can all provide clues about how well your body is managing blood sugar. Foods that cause blood sugar spikes are often followed by crashes that leave you feeling tired, irritable, or hungry again within a few hours. Foods that support stable blood sugar typically provide sustained energy and help you feel satisfied for 3 to 4 hours. Now let's talk about the long-term benefits of maintaining stable blood sugar levels, which extend far beyond just feeling more energetic throughout the day. Stable blood sugar supports better cognitive function, including improved memory, concentration, and mental clarity. Many people notice that they think more clearly and feel mentally sharper when they eliminate the foods that cause blood sugar swings. Better blood sugar control also supports more stable moods. The irritability, anxiety, and mood swings that often accompany blood sugar fluctuations diminish when glucose levels remain steady throughout the day. Sleep quality often improves significantly when blood sugar is well controlled. Blood sugar crashes during the night can trigger the release of stress hormones that wake you up, leading to poor sleep quality and daytime fatigue. Stable blood sugar supports deeper, more restorative sleep. Weight management becomes much easier when blood sugar is stable because your appetite regulation system works more effectively. When blood sugar is constantly spiking and crashing, you experience frequent hunger and cravings that make it difficult to maintain a healthy weight. Perhaps most importantly, maintaining stable blood sugar significantly reduces your risk of developing serious health complications later in life. Chronic blood sugar elevation contributes to cardiovascular disease, kidney problems, nerve damage, and cognitive decline. The changes you make now to support healthy blood sugar can have profound impacts on your quality of life and health span as you age. This isn't just about feeling better today. It's about protecting your future health and maintaining your independence and vitality for years to come. Let me address some specific strategies for different eating preferences and dietary restrictions, because the principles of blood sugar management can be applied regardless of your specific dietary approach. If you follow a vegetarian or vegan diet, focus on plant-based proteins like legumes, nuts, seeds, and quinoa. These foods provide protein and fiber that help stabilize blood sugar. Be especially careful with processed vegetarian foods, which are often loaded with sugars and refined grains. Tempeh, tofu, and other fermented soy products are excellent options because fermentation reduces their carbohydrate content and may improve their nutritional profile. Nutritional yeast adds protein and B vitamins to meals without affecting blood sugar. For those following ketogenic or low-carb diets, the focus should be on healthy fats and high-quality proteins while carefully managing the small amounts of carbohydrates you do consume. Non-starchy vegetables should make up the majority of your carbohydrate intake. If you're following a Mediterranean-style diet, emphasize the aspects that support blood sugar control: olive oil, nuts, fish, vegetables, and small amounts of whole grains. Be cautious with the fruit portions and wine consumption, as these can contribute to blood sugar elevation. For people with specific food allergies or intolerances, focus on whole foods that you can tolerate and avoid processed alternatives that might contain hidden sugars or problematic ingredients. Many gluten-free processed foods, for example, are made with refined starches that can cause significant blood sugar spikes. Let's discuss strategies for eating out and social situations in more detail, because these scenarios can be particularly challenging when you're trying to manage blood sugar. When eating at restaurants, don't hesitate to ask questions about how foods are prepared. Many sauces, marinades, and even seemingly savory dishes contain added sugars. Asking for sauces and dressings on the side gives you control over how much you consume. Choose grilled, baked, or roasted proteins over fried options, which are often coated in flour or breadcrumbs that add unnecessary carbohydrates. Ask for extra vegetables instead of starches like rice, potatoes, or pasta as your side dish. If you're at a restaurant that serves large portions, consider asking for a to-go container when your meal arrives and immediately packing up half for later. This prevents overeating and gives you a healthy meal for the next day. At social gatherings, offer to bring a dish that you know supports your blood sugar goals. This ensures you'll have at least one good option available, and you might introduce others to delicious foods they hadn't considered. Focus on the social aspects of gatherings rather than the food. Position yourself away from food tables when possible, and keep your hands busy with a beverage or by engaging in conversation. If you're traveling, research restaurants at your destination ahead of time to identify options that will support your goals. Many restaurants now post their menus online, making it easier to plan your choices in advance. Pack non-perishable snacks for travel days, when healthy options might be limited. Nuts, seeds, jerky, and canned fish can help you avoid airport or gas station foods that are typically high in sugar and refined carbohydrates. Now let's talk about the psychological aspects of changing your relationship with food, which is often overlooked but crucial for long-term success. Many people have emotional connections to the foods that are causing their blood sugar problems. Childhood memories, comfort associations, and social traditions often revolve around high-sugar foods. Acknowledging these connections without judgment can help you navigate the emotional aspects of dietary changes. Consider what needs these foods are meeting beyond just nutrition. If you reach for granola bars when you're stressed, you might need to develop other stress management strategies. If flavored yogurt is your go-to comfort food, experiment with ways to make plain yogurt more satisfying and comforting. Practice self-compassion as you make these changes. Perfect adherence isn't necessary for significant improvements in blood sugar control. Focus on progress rather than perfection, and don't let occasional lapses derail your overall efforts. Celebrate non-scale victories like improved energy levels, better sleep, clearer thinking, or more stable moods. These improvements often occur before changes in weight or blood test results become apparent. Consider working with a registered dietitian who specializes in blood sugar management if you're struggling to implement these changes on your own or if you have complex medical conditions that require more personalized guidance. Let's discuss specific strategies for different times of day, because your body's sensitivity to carbohydrates changes throughout the day based on hormonal fluctuations and other factors. Morning cortisol levels are naturally higher, which can make your body more resistant to insulin and more likely to experience blood sugar spikes from carbohydrates. This is why a protein-rich breakfast is so important for setting the tone for stable blood sugar throughout the day. If you exercise in the morning, you may be able to tolerate slightly more carbohydrates at breakfast because physical activity helps your muscles take up glucose from your bloodstream. However, the carbohydrates should still be high-quality, whole food sources rather than processed options. Late-night eating can be particularly problematic for blood sugar control because your body's insulin sensitivity naturally decreases in the evening. If you need an evening snack, choose options that are primarily protein and fat with minimal carbohydrates. The timing of your largest meal can also affect blood sugar control. Some people find that eating their largest meal earlier in the day supports better blood sugar management, while others do better with smaller, more frequent meals. Pay attention to your individual patterns and energy levels to determine what timing works best for your body. There's no single approach that works for everyone, so experimentation and self-awareness are key. Let me share some practical tips for meal preparation that can make blood sugar-friendly eating more convenient and enjoyable. Invest in good food storage containers that make it easy to prepare and store individual portions of proteins, vegetables, and healthy fats. Having these components ready to go makes it easy to assemble balanced meals quickly. Prepare versatile base ingredients that can be used in multiple ways throughout the week. For example, roasted chicken can be used in salads, omelets, soups, and as a standalone protein with vegetables. Learn to use herbs and spices creatively to add flavor without relying on sugar-based sauces and condiments. Fresh herbs, garlic, ginger, cumin, paprika, and other spices can transform simple ingredients into flavorful meals. Consider investing in time-saving kitchen tools like a slow cooker, pressure cooker, or air fryer that can help you prepare healthy meals with minimal hands-on time. Batch cook proteins and vegetables on weekends when you have more time, then quickly assemble meals during busy weekdays. Having these components prepared makes it much easier to avoid convenience foods that spike blood sugar. Now let's address some specific concerns that people often have when considering these dietary changes. One common worry is whether eliminating certain foods will lead to nutrient deficiencies. The truth is that most of the foods on our problem list provide very few essential nutrients relative to their calorie and sugar content. You'll likely improve your overall nutrient intake by replacing them with whole foods. For example, replacing fruit juice with whole fruit gives you the same vitamins but with added fiber and lower overall sugar content. Swapping flavored yogurt for plain yogurt with your own additions gives you the same protein and probiotics with much less sugar. Another concern is whether these changes are sustainable long-term. The key to sustainability is making changes gradually and finding substitutions that you actually enjoy. If you feel deprived or restricted, you're less likely to stick with the changes. Focus on adding healthy options rather than just eliminating problematic ones. When your diet is rich in satisfying, flavorful whole foods, you'll naturally crowd out less healthy options without feeling deprived. Some people worry about the cost of eating this way, but many of the substitutions we've discussed can actually save money. Making your own salad dressings, choosing plain yogurt over flavored varieties, and preparing snacks at home instead of buying packaged options can reduce your grocery bills. The key is to focus on simple, whole foods rather than expensive specialty products. You don't need exotic superfoods or expensive supplements to support healthy blood sugar. Basic foods like eggs, vegetables, olive oil, and nuts are both affordable and effective. Let's talk about monitoring your progress and knowing whether the changes you're making are having the desired effects on your blood sugar control and overall health. Energy levels throughout the day are one of the best indicators of blood sugar stability. When your blood sugar is well controlled, you should feel relatively steady energy from morning until bedtime, without the dramatic peaks and crashes that characterize poor blood sugar control. Sleep quality is another important marker. Better blood sugar control often leads to deeper, more restorative sleep with fewer nighttime awakenings. You might notice that you fall asleep more easily and wake up feeling more refreshed. Hunger patterns also change when blood sugar is stable. Instead of feeling ravenously hungry every few hours or experiencing intense cravings for sweet foods, you should feel satisfied for 3 to 4 hours after eating balanced meals. Mood stability often improves significantly. The irritability, anxiety, and mood swings that can accompany blood sugar fluctuations typically diminish when glucose levels remain steady throughout the day. If you want objective measures of your progress, consider having basic blood work done before making changes and again after 3 to 6 months of implementing these strategies. Fasting glucose, hemoglobin A1C, and fasting insulin levels can provide concrete evidence of improved blood sugar control. Blood pressure often improves with better blood sugar management, as can cholesterol levels and markers of inflammation. These improvements reflect the widespread benefits of stable blood sugar throughout your body. Now let's discuss some advanced strategies that you can implement once you've mastered the basics of blood sugar-friendly eating. Intermittent fasting can be a powerful tool for improving insulin sensitivity and blood sugar control, but it should be approached carefully, especially if you're taking medications or have any underlying health conditions. Start with a simple 12-hour eating window, such as eating between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m., and see how your body responds. Strength training is particularly beneficial for blood sugar control because muscle tissue is a major site for glucose storage. Building and maintaining muscle mass provides your body with more places to store glucose, reducing blood sugar spikes. Even simple bodyweight exercises performed regularly can make a significant difference. Stress management techniques like meditation, deep breathing, or yoga can support better blood sugar control by reducing cortisol levels and improving insulin sensitivity. Chronic stress is a major contributor to blood sugar problems, so addressing it can enhance the benefits of dietary changes. Consider the timing of your carbohydrate intake around physical activity. Consuming small amounts of carbohydrates immediately before or after exercise can be less problematic for blood sugar because your muscles are primed to take up glucose during and after physical activity. Experiment with different types of fiber supplements, such as psyllium husk or glucomannan, which can help slow the absorption of carbohydrates when taken before meals. These supplements can be particularly helpful when you occasionally consume higher carbohydrate foods. Some people benefit from specific supplements that support blood sugar metabolism, such as chromium, magnesium, or berberine. However, these should be used under the guidance of a healthcare provider, as they can interact with medications and aren't appropriate for everyone. Let's address the importance of building a support system as you make these changes, because social support can be crucial for long-term success. Share your goals and the reasons behind your dietary changes with family members and close friends. When people understand that you're making these changes for your health rather than just following a fad diet, they're more likely to be supportive. Consider finding others who are working towards similar health goals. This might be through online communities, local support groups, or even just one friend or family member who wants to make changes alongside you. If you live with others, try to get them involved in meal planning and preparation. When everyone in the household is eating blood sugar-friendly foods, it's much easier to maintain your new habits. Don't be afraid to ask for help when you need it. Whether it's asking a friend to be an accountability partner, requesting that family members avoid bringing problematic foods into the house, or seeking professional guidance from a healthcare provider, reaching out for support is a sign of strength, not weakness. Remember that changing long-established eating patterns takes time and patience. Be kind to yourself as you learn new habits and don't expect perfection immediately. Every positive choice you make is a step toward better health, regardless of any setbacks along the way. As we wrap up our discussion of the 9 foods to avoid and the strategies for better blood sugar control, let's revisit the key principles that can guide your food choices going forward. Always think in terms of food combinations rather than individual foods. Even if you occasionally eat something that might spike blood sugar on its own, combining it with protein, healthy fats, and fiber can minimize its impact. Prioritize whole foods over processed options whenever possible. The more processing a food has undergone, the more likely it is to cause rapid changes in blood sugar. When you do choose processed foods, read labels carefully and select options with minimal added sugars and ingredients you recognize. Pay attention to your body's responses and adjust accordingly. Your individual tolerance for different foods may change over time based on factors like activity level, stress, sleep quality, and overall health status. Focus on progress, not perfection. Small, consistent changes compound over time to create significant improvements in health. You don't need to eliminate every problematic food simultaneously or follow a perfect diet to see meaningful benefits. Remember that food is just one aspect of blood sugar control. Sleep, stress management, physical activity, and other lifestyle factors all play important roles in maintaining stable glucose levels. The goal isn't to create a restrictive diet that eliminates all enjoyment from eating, but rather to develop a sustainable way of eating that supports your energy, health, and quality of life as you age. By understanding how your body has changed since turning 50 and making strategic adjustments to accommodate these changes, you can maintain stable blood sugar, consistent energy levels, and optimal health for years to come. The 9 foods we've discussed today represent just the beginning of your journey toward better blood sugar control. As you implement these changes and begin to feel the benefits of more stable glucose levels, you'll likely discover additional foods and eating patterns that work well for your individual needs. Remember that every person's path to optimal health is unique. What works perfectly for one person might need to be modified for another. Use the principles we've discussed as your foundation, but don't be afraid to experiment and adjust based on your own experiences and responses. The investment you make now in learning to eat in a way that supports stable blood sugar will pay dividends for the rest of your life. Better energy, improved mood, enhanced cognitive function, and reduced risk of serious health complications are all within your reach through these simple but powerful dietary changes. Take it one day at a time, one meal at a time, and one food choice at a time. Your future self will thank you for the changes you implement starting today. And now, if you want to discover the single most powerful vegetable that can help eliminate blood sugar spikes once and for all, naturally and safely, make sure to click on the next video where I reveal this incredible vegetable, how to prepare it for maximum benefit, the best time to eat it, proper portions, and the specific combinations that can amplify its blood sugar lowering effects. This information could be the missing piece that takes your blood sugar control to the next level. Click now to discover this game-changing vegetable and how it can transform your health after 50.